Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel today. So today I'll try and walk us through some of the settings you can customize on your S25 Ultra, S23 Ultra, any Samsung phone to be honest, and any Android phone at large. But I'm working with One UI 7 on Samsung here. These settings would help you optimize your battery life and give you better battery life performance on your phone. Some of these settings are enabled by default, some maybe not, but you want to consciously micromanage this and get the best out of your battery life. The first setting we're looking at is the adaptive battery. So in order to enable that, you need to go to the battery, go to the background usage limits, press on the three dots on the top there, select adaptive battery and make sure it's on. This setting helps you extend your battery life based on your phone usage. So this setting looks at your active time on the phone, when it's actively being used and when it's not being used, and it sort of tries to balance in between to optimize the battery life in a way that it extends the battery life. So it looks at your usage patterns and get the best out of the battery life automatically for you. You don't need to do anything, it does the background work for you. But trust me, it can make a difference between you waking up in the morning and seeing a drained battery, or you waking up in the morning and seeing that you've not lost a lot of charge overnight, because the phone has learned that you are not actively using your phone overnight. It minimizes the background usage and the background limits and the battery consumption from all your apps automatically anyway. So that's something to look at. Yeah, so the number two settings to check is the screen brightness. You want to make sure that your screen brightness is at an optimal range. If you can see here, the slider is, I think I put it around 50%, and that's because I'm trying to see this clearly and make you guys see this clearly. But you want to make sure it's lower, maybe around this range. Trust me, it's too bright enough for you to see, but depending on your eye, you might want to put it around 50%. So the screen brightness is quite important in helping us manage the battery life. The screen is probably the highest consumer of battery. So I can also enable a setting that makes sure that the screen brightness sort of goes up and down automatically based on the ambience of the surroundings. So if I go to display and I have the screen brightness, make sure the adaptive screen brightness is turned on. As you can see, this will adapt, is a setting that adapts the brightness of the phone automatically based on your surrounding, based on if you are in, maybe for instance, if you're in the sunlight, you get better brightness. If you are in a dark room, it automatically lowers the brightness. So you want the phone to automatically do this for you in a way that, one, it gives you that convenience, two, it helps you improve your battery life. So yeah, another settings you can optimize or customize for your battery life is the background usage limits. The background usage limits helps to, as the name implies, helps to limit the background apps that run. So many a times on Android phones and smartphones generally, apps run in the background to pull notifications, to get updates, to refresh your timelines for social media apps. So you want to make sure that these apps, even though they run in the background, they're not draining your battery. And on Samsung, and I think it applies to most Android phones right now too, you can go to the settings, go to battery, go to background usage limits, and the settings there helps you to limit background usage for apps that you don't use often. So you can enable this toggle to put unused app to sleep. So any app you're not using for a while, the phone itself will put it in a sleep mode. In the sleep mode, the app will not run a lot. So you need to enable this setting. So if you don't want some apps to sleep, maybe you want an app to run all the time because it's quite crucial for your day-to-day, you want to add those apps to this screen. So never auto sleep. Some apps you can skip some apps, but I've enabled put unused apps to sleep, and I've not added any app to the auto sleeping never auto sleeping apps. So you can use this option to exclude some app. Right now I don't have any sleeping app, and this settings, because it's enabled, it goes through my phone and look at apps that I don't use often, and it sort of disables them. I have 136 apps I don't use often. So the deep sleeping apps will never run in the background and may not receive updates or notifications. They will only work when you open them. So that's okay. Some apps you don't need notifications, you just want to go there once in a while and check them out. So this has added a lot of apps into my deep sleeping apps. I think I need to go through this and uninstall many of them. So that's that about background usage limits. This is a very big one where you can potentially get more hours, a lot more hours in the day, because your phone is not using a lot of juice in the background without you being aware of it. So another settings that sort of improves battery life is the dark mode. So the dark mode is a mode where if you enable that dark mode, you get almost completely dark screen with just the text and the icons in color. So this is great for battery life. The difference might not be day and night, but I mean, you can get extra 20-30 minutes juice daily, who knows. But what it does is essentially all the pixels are turned black in these areas, and only the icons and the text show color. So that saves the battery life of the display a lot. Many people like this and many people use this these days, and the dark mode settings follow you along in virtually all your apps. You can see my widgets here are now dark. All my widgets here, they're dark now. So it's a cool settings to have. It makes this phone actually look better, sort of subjective view, but I think it looks better. I have a way of making mine go on and off. So if you go to dark mode settings and you turn it on as scheduled, so during sunset it will go to dark mode, and at sunrise it goes back to the normal white mode. That's a preference, but if you keep it dark every time, you'll probably get a better battery life. Yeah, so the final setting we'll look at is the location for today. The location services can be accessed if you go to settings and you scroll down and you go to location. You can see the apps that have recent access to your location and when did they access the locations. For instance, SmartThings did 3 minutes ago. LinkedIn did 33 minutes ago, blah blah blah. So anyway, the point here is the location service has to be on. There's a lot of benefits for location services being on. Apps use this to know what sort of content to serve you, where you are. For instance, we all have the same LinkedIn app installed, right? But we all live in different countries. So it's important for LinkedIn to know where you are so that they can serve you the content that is related to where you are. So location services, first of all, is very important, but not every app needs to have location services on all the time. So you want to go to the app permissions and you go through one by one and try and check if you actually really need to give that app location services. So for instance, Bisbee is an app that I use and I allow all the time. Now let's assume it's not an app I want to use. I can say allow only while using the app, right? But if you see the one here, basic features of the device may no longer function as needed. So Bixby has routine modes. It has automations that it does for me when I'm at home, when I'm at workplace, when I'm commuting, etc. So it needs my location all the time. That's an exception, which is fine, but not every app. I'm just giving you this as an example. Not every app needs to know where you are or have location services on all the time. You can enable this setting, allow only while using the app, which is great because it means your location is used when you use the app rather than any other time you're not even using the app and just draining your battery. So a good example for this will be, let's see for this Bible here. So this Bible app allow only while using the app. So I'm only allowing it while using the app. I don't need to use the location any other time apart from when I'm using the app. So this is a setting you want to go through. When this setting is usually asked on the first time you launch an app. So if I install this app for the very first time, I get that pop-up where it asks me enable location services all the time, ask every time, or only while using the app. You want to be careful at that point to select only while using the app so that you don't have to micromanage this going forward. So it's important to pay attention when you are enabling location services for your solutions. So one other setting we can quickly look at today is the power saving mode. The power saving mode is an option that sort of combines everything we've been mentioning here into one setting you can fine tune and enable on and off. So if you look at this, the background network usage, the syncing, the location checking will be limited, and super HDR won't be available. So it limits the CPU speed to 70%. It turns off always on display. It decreases the brightness by 10%. It sets the motion smoothness to standard. It turns on dark mode. It sets screen timeout to 30 seconds. So this is like a pro tip, right? Everything we've mentioned right here, if you turn on the power saving mode, you can automatically limit the speed, limit the battery life of the phone. So my current battery is 71%, and it's saying I have 15 hours of 40 minutes of battery left. So if I turn it off, my phone goes back to the optimal performance and power, but it's draining a lot more power than if I turn it off. So you can turn on and off the power saving mode to enjoy the best battery life as you deem fit. So it's a pro tip. It's a tip that you don't need to go through all the things we'll be talking about if you just enable the power saving mode. Yeah, so that's it, guys. Thank you for joining today. If you've liked this video, please take your time to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends and family. This encourages us to do more. Thank you for joining. I hope those 5 settings would help your battery life and improve your smartphone experience. Bye.